Hello everyone, my name is Villa Angel Javillana Peralta and let's talk about the life of Fidel Valdez Ramos. March 18, 1928 to July 31, 2022, known as PBR, shortcut sa pangalan niyang Fidel Valdez Ramos, was a Filipino general and politician, isang Pilipinong general at politiko, serving as the Philippines' 12th president from 1992 to 1998. Pangulo ng Pilipinas mula 1992 hanggang 1998. The only military officer to achieve the 5-star general or admiral rank. Ang tanging opisyal na militar na umabot sa rangkong between na 5 ningning. His career spanned from second lieutenant to commander-in-chief, mula sa pangalawang tiyente hanggang sa pinamakataas na pinuno ng sandatahang lakas. Is recognized for boasting international confidence in the Philippines economy during his presidency. Kinikilala siya sa pagpapalakas ng tiwala ng ibang bansa sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas sa panahong kanyang pamumuno. So like si PBR, diba? Born March 18, 1928 in Lingayen, Pangasinan. Super coastal town yon. Grew up in Asingan, which is like so near. Okay, so his family, grabe ang influential. His dad, Narcimo Ramos, was like the big deal in politics and the law. Lawyer and journalist. Seriously, five terms in the House of Representatives ang bongga. Then he became the Secretary of Philippines in all this. Like super important international things. He was like a major player in forming ASEAN, signing that declaration in Bangkok back in 1967. Plus, he was the founding member of the Liberal Party, which is like so huge political party. Ang galing. And get this, beyond politics, Narciso Ramos was a total war hero during World War II. He led the Maharlika guerrillas, which was founded by Ferdinand Marcos. Super intense. His mom, Angela Valdez, he was a teacher and a total advocate for women's rights. Oh, san ka pa? Mga babae, may rights. Paano naman ang lalaki? So, buti naman, babae ako, di ba? May rights ako. How about sa mga lalaki? Okay, so go back tayo sa topic. As suffragette and fighting for women's rights to vote, she was from the Valdez clan of Batac, Ilocos Norte. So, PBR is the second cousin of former President Marcos. Ang connection. Diba sana all may connection na ganun? PBR early education was at a public school in Lingayen. Then he went to UP High School in Manila, pero like he continued his studies at Mapua. He graduated from Centro Escolar University in 1945. Ang bilis naman, sana all. After high school, he went to West Point Super Intense Military Academy in the US. He aced it, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Military Engineering in 1952. He was a total bookworm. Kagaya ko, bookworm ako, pero Wattpad ang binabasa ko. Hindi academic. Sana all na lang. So he got a master's degree in civil engineering at the University of Illinois. In 1953, he took the civil engineering board and got 8th place overall. Ang talino! But wait, there's more. He later got a master's in National Security Administration and a master in Business Administration, a total scholar soldier, and like 29 honorary doctorate degrees. Ang dami, samantalang ako hirap na, may pasa ang degree to, samantalang siya, oh my God. Okay. So PBR had like the best foundation for success. He came from a powerful family, got a super amazing education, and was like a seriously passionate about learning. Ang saya naman niya. Sana all.
Marriage. Ramos married Amelita Martinez on October 21, 1954 at Central Church, now known as Central United Methodist Church, and in Imita, Manila. They started as friends while they were classmates at UP High School and neighbors at Padre Faura Street in Manila. Together, they had 5 daughters: Angelita Ramos, Jones, Josephine Ramos, Samartino, Carolina Ramos, Sembrano, Cristina Ramos, Velasco, and Gloria Ramos. They also have 5 grandsons and 3 granddaughters. Military career. Early career. Ramos went to the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he graduated in 1950. During his stint at the Philippine Army, Ramos founded the Philippine Army Special Forces. Later, he was named as the commander of the Army 3rd Division based in Cebu City. Ramos received several military awards including the Philippine Legion of Honor, March 18, 1988 and July 19, 1991, the Distinguished Conduct Star 1991, the Distinguished Service Star May 20, 1966, December 20, 1967, and August 3, 1981. Philippine Military Merit Medal, May 23, 1952. The U.S. Military Academy Distinguished Graduate Award and Legion of Merit, August 1, 1990, and the French Legion of Honor. Korean War Service. Ramos was a member of the Philippines 20th Battalion Combat Team of the Philippine Expeditionary Force to Korea. That fought in the Korean War, he was infantry reconnaissance platoon leader. Ramos was one of the heroes of Battle Hill Area, where he led his platoon to sabotage the enemy in Hill Area. Vietnam War Service. Ramos was also in the Vietnam War as a non-combat civil military engineer and chief of staff of the Philippine Civic Action Group. It was during this assignment where he forged his lifelong friendship with his junior officer, Major Jose T. Almonte, who went on to become his national security advisor during his administration from 1992 to 1998. Presidency, 1992 to 1998. At the time of his accession in 1992, he was the first and only Protestant to date to be elected President of the Philippines, with a Roman Catholic majority, and the only Filipino officer in history to have held every rank in the Philippine military from second lieutenant to commander-in-chief. The first 3 years of his administration were characterized by an economic boom, technological development, political stability, and efficient delivery of basic needs to the people. He advocated party platforms as an outline and agenda for governance. He was the first Christian Democrat to be elected in the country, being the founder of Lakas Christian Muslim Democrats Party. He was one of the most influential leaders and unofficial spokesman of liberal democracy in Asia.
Okay, dumako naman tayo sa presidency ni PBR. Ang una ay ang domestic policies. Ang pangunahing programa ni President Ramos ay ang Philippines 2000 na may ambisyosong layunin na gawing newly industrialized country ang Pilipinas bago matapos ang siglo. President Ramos' flagship program was Philippines 2000, with the ambitious goal of transforming the Philippines into a newly industrialized country by the year 2000. So like the 5 key areas were the super important, okay? Peace and stability, kasi kailangan chill lang ang lahat. Economic growth para yumaman tayo. Charis. Energy and power generation para walang brownouts. Environment protection para maganda ang Pilipinas. And the last is the streamline bureaucracy para walang corruption. The number 2 is peace with group. Contrary to expectation given his military background, President Ramos prioritized the peace building. He established the National Unification Commission or tinatawag na NUC, and cleverly appointed Heidi Yorak as its chair, a brilliant move that signaled his commitment to a fair and impartial process. Ang talino ng strategy. So like the NUC recommended granting amnesty to reveal the military officer from the Armed Forces Movement or tinatawag na RAM, including the big names like Colonel Grigio Honasian and Captain Proceso Maligaliga. Ang lakas ng loob. This was a huge step towards a reconciliation. Perhaps his more significant achievement was the 1996 final peace agreement with the Moro National Liberation Front. Tinatawag na MNLF, led by Nanor Miseri. This agreement marked a turning point in long-standing conflict in Mindanao. Pero hindi lang doon natapos ang kanyang pagsusumikap para sa kapayapaan, but his effort didn't stop there. He signed the Republic Act No. 7636, repealing the anti-subversion law. This legalized the membership in the Communist Party of the Philippines, or tinatawag na CPP. A bold move towards reconciliation. During his presidency, the Comprehensive Agreement on Respect or Human Rights and International Humanitarian Law or CARPHIL was signed with the CPP in 1998. Grabe, ang dami niyang na-achieve. This agreement provide a mechanism to monitor the human rights abuses, a crucial step towards building lasting peace. Pang-tatlo naman ay economic reform. Sinimulan ni Pangulong Ramos ang pagbubukas ng ating ekonomiya. Dati sarado sa mga dayuhan, pinatibay niya ang pribadong sektor at inakit ang lokal at dayuhang pamumunuhan. Ang layunin, ang pag-unlad, syempre naman, progress. Binuksan din niya ang industriya ng aviation sa mas maraming players, kaya mas maraming pagpipilian ang mga Pilipino. Siya ang pinakamadalas na maglakbay ng presidente at dahil dito nakuha tayo ng halos US 20 billion na foreign investment. Para mas lalong umunlad ang ekonomiya, pinamumunuan niya ang ika-4 na APEC Leaders Summit dito sa Pilipinas noong 1996. To further boost the economy, he led the fourth APEC Leaders Summit here in the Philippines in 1996. Dahil sa kanyang mga programa, tumaas ang Philippine stock, pinakamahusay na mundo, ang kanyang Philippines 2000 vision na nagtulak sa Pilipinas tungo sa pagiging newly industrialized country at tinagurian pa tayong the Tiger Cub economy ng Asia. Because of his programs, the Philippine Stock Exchange rose and became of the best in the world. His Philippines 2000 vision propelled the Philippines toward becoming a new industrial country, and we were even called the Tiger Cub economy of Asia. Sunod naman ay power crisis. Noong panahon ni President Ramos, grabe, ang brownouts. Ang daming Pilipino na naapektuhan. Bakit? Lumang power plants, mataas na demand, at wala pang maayos na Department of Economy. So, President Ramos as in requested from Congress to create a Department of Energy kasi naman super crucial. Yun for planning and managing our energy needs. Gets? Congress gave him energy power and boom, he issued licenses to independent power producers. Or IPP to build new plants within 24 months. Ang bilis naman, di ba? Like the government guaranteed to buy all the power from this IPP in US dollar para ma-attract ang mga investor. Ang bait naman, right? Pero the Asian financial crisis hit, the peso crashed, and the demand for electricity went down. Ay nako, ang laki ng problema naman. Despite warning from the World Bank and international government report about potential oversupply and rising prices, President Ramos pushed for this expensive contract individual close to him also benefit from lucrative side deals. Grabe, so many contracts. Even after the power crisis was solved, ang mahal ng kuryente natin hanggang ngayon. 'Di ba? Noon, mga 1K lang binabayaran namin, pero ngayon, 3K na. Sunod naman tayo sa death penalty. Ang death penalty, okay, the last presidency of Fidel Ramos was the death penalty. During his presidential campaign, President Ramos talaga supported bringing back the death penalty, considering the Philippines was the first Asian country to abolish it in 1987. Ang laki ng change. So, in 1996, as in he signed a big restate it using the electric chair, ang weird ride. Only the Philippines and the US use that chair or the method. Parang a throwback. They plan to use Agashamper pa, but ayun, it never happened. Kasi naman, the old electric chair was destroyed in a fire, kaya they ended up using lethal injection. Ang drama. After his presidency, some executions were carried out by lethal injection until the death penalty was abolished again in 2006.
Foreign policies. Spratly Islands. In early 1995, the Philippines discovered a primitive military structure on Mischief Reef in the Spratly Islands, 130 nautical miles, 240 km, 150 millimeter of the coast of Palawan. The Philippine government issue of formal protest over the PRC occupation of the reef and Philippine Navy. Arrested 62 Chinese fishermen at Half Moon, 80 kilometers from Palawan. A week later, following confirmation from surveillance pictures that the structure were of military design, President Fidel Ramos had the military force in the region strengthened. He ordered the Philippine Air Force to dispatch 5 fighters backed by our jet trainers and 2 helicopters, while the Navy sent 2 additional ships. The People's Republic of China had claimed that the structure were shelter for fishermen, but this small incident could have triggered a war in the South China Sea.
Good afternoon everyone, I am the reporter for today's video. Let's tackle the contributions of Fidel Ramos. Migrant workers protection. A perceived weakness, according to whom, of his administration was the situation in handling migrant workers protection, a very major issue in the Philippines, as there are millions of Filipinos abroad throughout the world serving as workers in foreign countries, and remittances to relatives at home are very important to the Filipino economy. On the eve of his 67th birthday on March 17, 1995, Ramos was on a foreign trip when Flor Contemplacion was hung in Singapore. His last minute of effort to negotiate with Singapore President Ong Teng Cheong and Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong failed, and Ramos' return was marred with protest after his arrival in Manila. Sabi dito sa yung situation doon sa Singapore daw noon, merong nag-abroad na Pilipino, then binitay siya doon. Parang inhang nila yung binitay ni sila doon, yung bukal ng galot. Then si Ramos pumunta doon, nakinegotiate sa president ng Singapore at prime minister, pero pumalya. At nung bumalik sa Pilipinas, Ayun, binas siya, nabash. Ito pa yung contribution ni Fidel Ramos. Asian financial crisis of 1997. The 1997 Asian financial crisis, which started in Thailand, was a major blow to the end of the Ramos administration, with him stepping down with a negative GDP growth. The economy was hit by the currency devaluation, with the Philippine peso drop to 45.42 or $1 in January 1998 from 26.40 in $1. In July 1997, the same was true for the Thai baht, Malaysian ringgit, and Indonesian rupiah. Growth fell to about negative 0.6% in 1998 from 5.2 in 1997, but recovered to 3.4 by 1999. It also resulted in the shutdown of some businesses and declined the important rising in unemployment rate and the unstable financial sector. May sabi nga contribution na Clark Centennial Expo scandal. Supposedly, one of his notable contribution to the Philippines was the revival of nationalistic spirit by embarking on a massive promotion campaign for the centennial of the Philippines in the independence celebrated on June 12, 1998. However, charges of alleged massive corruption of misuse and funds blemish the resulting program and various projects, of one which was the Centennial Expo and amphitheater at the former Clark Air Base, Angeles City. Supposedly, Ramos' pet project, the commemorative projects, particularly those undertaken at Clark, were hounded by the illegal electioneering and corruption controversies even years after centennial celebrations. Clark Air Base at the point was already completely free from the American interference and therefore conceived as a suitable venue for Independence Day. In 1992, all Americans' military bases were transferred to the Philippines control after the Senate rejected the military bases agreement with the United States. Later on, it was revealed through a special report by the Philippine Center Investigation Journalism (PCIJ) that the project relating to the Expo site not only revealed the extravagance and inefficiency of an administration but also served as convenient vehicle to the affect election fundraising for lakas political party of Ramos. Then, charter charge. During his final years in office, Ramos tried to amend the country's 1987 constitution through a process popularly known to many Filipinos as charter or chacha. Widespread protests led by Corazon Aquino and the Roman Catholic Church stopped him from pushing through the plan. Political analysts were divided as to whether Ramos really wanted to use charter change or extended his presidency, or only to imbalance his opponents as the next presidential election neared. He also intended to extend the term limits of the presidency to remain in power, but his rival Miriam Defensor Santiago went to the Supreme Court and negated extending the term limit of presidency, which preserved democracy at the time. May ginawa daw sa Ramos noon. Gusto niya mapahaba yung serving ng isang presidency, pero si Miriam Defensor Santiago pumunta sa Supreme Court at ninegate yung proposal ni Ramos. Kaya natanggal si Ramos sa pagiging presidency noon. Death and funeral. Ito na kung saan namatay at nabuhay. On July 31, 2022, Ramos died from the complications of COVID-19 Omicron variant at the Makati Medical Center in Makati. O ato kat tinakagapuna kay COVID-19 iti spread the virus. Then at the age of 94, natay suna at the age of 34. According to the radio station DCRH and his family statement, he has been fully on triple vaccinated, but he compromises immune system. He also suffered from heart condition. At the time of his death, he was the second longest living president in the Philippines. Take note, second longest living president in the Philippines, only behind Emilio Aguinaldo by 186 days. He was previously the oldest living president, as the distinction held from Diosdado Macapagal's death in 1997. From July 31 to August 9, President Bongbong Marcos declared as the 9th-day period of National Mooring Day, whereas all the national flags are flown at a half-mast from sunrise to sunset as a sign of mooring. As per prevailing policies about COVID-19, Omicron-related deaths in the country during the Omicron time in the first 18-month period. Ramos remains were cremated, making him the second Philippine president to have been cremated before the initial burial after former President Benigno Aquino III in June 2021. Si Ramos daw, siya palang daw yung pangalawang Filipino president na na-cremate. Then fully vaccinated na siya pero namatay pa rin. Pero baka hindi dahil yun sa COVID, dahil sa sakit puso at ibang sakit yun. Then making him, his wake was held on from August 4 to 8 at the chapels at Heritage Park in Taguig. On August 9, he was accorded a state funeral, which was the first for the former Philippine president since Diosdado Macapagal in 1997. And his remains were inured at the libingan ng mga bayani between former President Elpidio Quirino and Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Then, thank you.